Hello and welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andre. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is an agenda called NAPD Contract, and it's not in standard or the startup format. It's actually a really old Netrunner card. And this agenda was a 4-2 agenda. You can largely ignore the top text, but it basically said, as an additional cost to steal this agenda, the runner must pay 4 credits. And for a pretty long period of time, I'd say this is one of the best agendas in the game. This sort of agenda ended up into every deck because asking the runner to pay 4 credits to steal an agenda was a lot of money back then. This card actually ended up costing universal influence as a way to help balance it because it was showing up anywhere. And while this card hasn't been around for a long time, I thought we could kind of revisit this sort of idea. And this is Yellow Tape, a Pravdivost Consulting deck that I have put together. And we have a couple pieces of gameplay following this. So to explain how this deck works, this is Pravdivost Consulting. This is the new NBN identity from Midnight Sun. It's a standard 45-15, and it says the first time each turn the runner makes a successful run, you may place 1 advancement on a card that can be advanced. So as long as the runner's running once a turn, you're getting free advancements. You're not paying a click, you're not paying a credit, and advancements inherently in Netrunner are very expensive. So being able to advance at pseudo instant speed, but also for free, is incredibly powerful. So we have a lot of cards that we want to advance. And speaking about NAPD Contract, the reason we're kind of trying to mimic this is that we have NAPD Cordon in this deck. This is a 0-cost lockdown operation. Lockdowns were a new kind of card that were introduced in the Ashes cycle, and they're basically cards that give an ongoing lasting effect for 1 turn following when you play them. So once you play NAPD Cordon, for the next runner turn, the runner has to pay 4 credits to steal any agenda, plus 2 credits for each advancement token on that agenda. So if you just play this, it makes every agenda for 1 turn an NAPD contract on top of all the other texts they have. But if you get advancements on them, they become even more expensive. And this is the basic idea of the deck. If we install advance an agenda in a remote server and the runner runs it to try and steal it, we get to put the second advancement on it with the Pravdivost ability. So this will have 2 agendas on it, which means the runner has to pay 8 credits to steal an agenda in the remote server. That's a lot of money. That's twice as strong as the NAPD contract, and ideally we can do this to just about any agenda in our deck. We can even make it more expensive with some other tricks, but that's the basis of what we're trying to do here, is set up these really strong NAPD cordon plays. So to run through the deck, we have 9 agendas here, mostly 2-pointers. We have 2 3-pointers, and we're looking at Artificial Crypto Crash as a 4-2 agenda. This is one of the new NBN agendas in Midnight Sun. I was really excited to try this one out. Basically, when you score this out, the runner loses 7 credits. Which is a lot of money. And if we're trying to make a deck that makes agendas hard to steal based off of how many credits you have, making the runner lose credits just about in any board state is pretty good. Now, this card's actually kind of interesting because you're thinking if the runner at least has 7 or 8 credits, they can generally steal the agenda that's been NAPD cordoned. But a lot of times what I found is when you install advance and play NAPD cordon, runners understand that agenda is going to be pretty expensive to run. So oftentimes they'll just sit back and install things and like set up and get money to be ready for the next turn after you score at the agenda, which means that the Crypto Crash lands generally pretty perfectly. And it's been really exciting. We've got some really, really wild hits with this. This card is potentially quite strong and can cause like what people call non-games. If the runner's always just crushed back down to 0 credits, they really can't interact with you. And we're pretty good at protecting this agenda and then getting it scored. In terms of other 4-2s, we have Off-World Office, 3 copies. Not much has to be said about this. If we score it, we make 7 credits. That's a heck of a lot of money, and hopefully we can protect this with NAPD cordons as well. As a 3-2, we have a single copy of Tomorrow's Headline. This is just a good enough agenda. It is a defensive agenda. It does give a tag. The runner can be surprised by that if they run last click. But if we score it, we can also give a tag. And we're pretty good at scoring things with clicks left in a turn. The deck does have 3 copies of Seamless Launch, which is really important for a deck that runs so many 4-2 agendas, just because we can never advance agendas if we need to. With Pravdivost's ability, a lot of times we'll be getting an advancement for free on an agenda in a remote server, so we don't need the Seamless Launches, but they do help out a lot and smooth things out. This is technically an economy card too. But the idea is that if we have a Tomorrow's Headline that gets a free advancement on it, or we can Seamless Launch it out, we can generally score this out with having a click or 2 left in a turn so that we can end up trashing some resources. We don't have any other inherent tag punishment in the deck itself. And then finally, we have 2 copies of Bologna, a 5-3 agenda that costs 5 credits to steal. We get 5 credits when we score it, which means if you install Advance of Bologna and play an NAPD cordon, they're going to have to pay 5 + 4 + 2 + 2. Right? It's like 13 credits to steal the Bologna, if I'm not mistaken. 5. Yeah, 13 credits, right? Because you'll get the advancement from the Pravdivost. That's a lot of money. You can make this even more expensive by getting more advancements on it. Admittedly, install advance and then playing a cordon makes the Bologna a bit hard to steal. If they don't run, you're not going to get the Pravdivost free advancement, so you're generally required to seamless launch it out, which is why we have 3 in the deck, and it hasn't been too clumsy so far. It's always important to also look at your agenda suite and try and think which agendas you're going to score out to win a game. Ideally, we're scoring out 2 2-pointers and then a single Bologna. Otherwise, we're forced to score out 4 agendas, 4 2-pointers, which can be a bit awkward. So you do want to make sure you're trying to score a Bologna every game if you can. In terms of the assets, we have 3 Rashidas. Not much needs to be said. 3 cards and 3 credits is a lot. We have 3 Regolith Mining License. This is a card that's I've been finding myself putting into probably way too many decks. I like it. It's a strong economy card. It's also something res on the table that will often provoke runs. The runner will see it and probably want to tear it down at some point, which means you're going to get your Pravdivost Consulting ability guaranteed, which is kind of nice. I do think there's a big chance that you could consider playing Daily Quest in this deck instead. It still does all the other stuff that your Regolith does by provoking runs, and potentially is more money. It's just not as quick, but it's clickless, which can be good too. So I think you can try either of those. We have 3 Spin Doctors, which is an incredible card draw, recursion, everything you want, especially in faction. And then finally, we have 3 copies of Ubiquitous Vig. This has been a really weird card to evaluate. On its own, it's an econ card as long as it's advanced, and you generally don't want to advance this card yourself. As soon as you're spending clicks and credits advancing this, it takes a long time to pay out because you're spending money resing this, let alone time and credits advancing it. So ideally, you get one of these on the table, and it's just like a nice place to put advancement tokens that the runner is giving you for free by running once a turn. A lot of times, if this gets 1 or 2 advancements on it, the runner is going to go trash that, but if they are going to go trash that, hopefully you're advancing something else by now. It's a strange card, and a lot of times you have one of these on the table and the runner's just not running, but eventually it does work, and that's kind of cool. In terms of the ice, we have 1 copy of a cat for 2 influence. This is an advanceable ice, so it's really nice to have cards that care about advancements on the table. Basically, in Pravdivost, I think you always want to have something on the table that can get an advancement if the runner runs. If the runner runs and you're not advancing anything, you're losing out on a lot of value. And Alket is a perfect card to get advancements on it for free. Once this thing has 3 advancements on it, they can't break both of the subroutines, and one of the subroutines gives advancements onto your other cards, let alone gives you credits. I do think you want to play more than 1 Alket in this deck. It's been so powerful. You put this in front of HQ against a criminal who wants to be running HQ every turn, and eventually this is going to be getting 3 advancements for free, and then you're going to start advancing your other cards, and it's going to be really good for you. This card is very powerful in Pravdivost. On top of that, we have 2 IP block. This is a card that inherently the runner can always trace through, but it is a card that really hates on AIs. If they have an AI, they take a tag and then they have to actually deal with this. And there's a lot of Amakua going around right now, which is a pretty prevalent criminal low influence AI. On top of that, because this is a trace, you do have some possibility of tracing into this and spending more money on the trace if you know that the runner needs so many credits to get through this to steal a Bologna or an NAPD cordon agenda. So it gives you some flexibility. Often the runner will want to break this and not trace through it if they can. This deck also ran a single wraparound, which I don't even think is necessary by any means. This is another card that basically is a soft hate card towards AIs. You're telling the runner, go actually find and install a Fractor. Otherwise, this is 7 strength, which is really hard to deal with. I think a 3rd IP block would probably be better than the 2nd wraparound, just because the IP block is more taxing when they do or don't have the Fractor and does still kind of hate on AIs. It's fine. I don't think wraparound's necessary. In terms of the code gates, we have 3 copies of Mist and Chestfold, a new advanceable ice from NBN, a really strong one too. On face check, the runner loses 3 credits and ends the run. That's not too bad. And if you have an advancement on this, when they encounter, you can take the advancement off for the runner to lose 3 credits. Now, of course, we're all talking about getting a credit differential in this deck so we can score NAP cordon agendas and protect them. So that is amazing. It's also a really good ice to have on the table just to get free advancements on it with your Pravdivost ability, or maybe an Alket or a Vasilisa. We'll get to Vasilisa. And it's good to have something so you're always getting value out of your ability. It's really important to know, though, this is very subtle, but when the runner encounters this, if you pull a counter off of this, they just lose 3 credits. If they have less than 3 credits, they just lose as much as they can. But that's very different than Toll Booth, which says if the runner can't lose 3 credits, they end the run. So a lot of times I've seen runners run through this with less than 3 credits. That's actually not that great unless they're like boomeranging it or breaking this without spending more credits, but it can get a bit fiddly sometimes, but generally something you'll get free advances on, so you're feeling pretty happy about the ability. Otherwise, we have 2 Enigmas. Enigma is kind of my fallback of an end the run code gate that has a relevant face check, especially in the early game. So you can get out an early Rashida or protect an early Regolith. It's pretty good. And then we're running one copy of Free Lunch, which you should not do by any means. I wanted to try this card out because I hadn't played it in a really, really long time. I don't think we end up resing it or playing it in any of the games following this, but in short, this card, the runner can run through it without a breaker and it costs them 2 credits. And while it doesn't cost them right away, it costs them at some point in time. I just think a 3 credit ice should cost the runner more than 2 credits to get through without a breaker. There's a lot of 1 cost ice in this game that cost the runner 2 credits to get through without a breaker. So this is just a lot of money for not a very good effect. The runner can largely ignore this and just pretend it costs 2 to break. Don't like this, don't play this. Lastly, we have Vasilisa. Vasilisa is our first sentry. We have 3 of them in the deck. Vasilisa gives the runner a tag, which is fine. We don't have tag punishment, but a lot of runners have resources they want to protect. But when the runner encounters this, you can pay a credit to advance a card that can be advanced. That is very powerful, especially if we have a Kets, Ubiquitous Vigs, Mesna Chestvos. As long as you have the credits to spend on this, mind you don't have to spend the click, so it's still cheaper than advancing. You can put advancements on cards. And we talked about NAPD Cordon being such a big part of this deck. The idea now is if you put an agenda, advance it, play NAPD Cordon behind a Vasilisa, as long as you can advance it with the Vasilisa, you're making the Cordon even stronger. So there's situations where you can make Bologna very easily 15 credits to steal if you do install advance behind a Vasilisa. That's wild. The fact that these make the NAPD Cordon so good, a lot of times you want this on the scoring remote as long as you're ripe with NAPD Cordons, which is cool. We're also running 1 copy of Turnpike. I just wanted to put more sentries into this list, and this is just like a mid-range sentry that's easy to res, that has a relevant text. The subroutine is technically not that important for a deck that doesn't have tag punishment, but more often than not, runners will try and break this. Trace 5 is a lot, so a lot of times they do want to find their killer, which is nice, but this is by no means important. In terms of the upgrades, we have 2 copies of Vladislavsk City Grid. It's a card we put into a remote server. Hopefully we get free advancements on it, and then we can score out agendas from hand, which is not too bad. Fast advancing a 4-2 agenda is obviously quite good. And once we do that, the runner still has to deal with this, and any other runs they make on any other servers charges this up, so it makes it more of a threat. A lot of times this is just going to get just trashed. I think the runner does need to trash this. There are some cool plays where if you have this in a remote server and it's already been installed for a turn, you can seamless launch it and actually score out a 3-2 agenda from hand. It's a really niche thing. We only have 1 3-2 in the deck, but it's interesting. It's a nice card to get, hopefully free value from the free advancements. Then finally, we just have the operations. We have 3 seamless launches, which are really important for the deck with a lot of 4-2s, allows us to also aggressively score out, have clicks left, jam more things on the table, allows us to score Bolognas after playing NAPD Cordons, which are quite nice. We have 3 Cordons, of course. We have 3 hedge funds. Fantastic. We have an archive memories, which you largely use to recur an NAPD Cordon or a seamless launch based on what you need. If the runner knows you have a seamless launch in hand, they have to run a bit more aggressively because anything on the table could be an agenda. They're aware of that. So that's pretty fun. We also have a single sprint, which is just a fun, nice way to use single influence, allows you to find your cordons and your seamless launches quickly, bury if you have too many agendas in hand. I do like this card a lot. And then finally, we have a single copy of Mitosis for 4 influence. This is a lot for a single card, and this card basically allows you to install 2 different things into new remote servers and put 2 advancements on them. That's a lot of clicks, and it's a lot of advancements for 3 credits. So this is a lot of click compression. Unfortunate spoiler, we don't end up playing this in any of the games following this, which feels a bit bad. I think there's a lot of circumstances where you can imagine this to do really well in a deck that has a lot of cards I want to install and advance. The fact that you can Mitosis at Bologna and then play NAPD Cordon seems really powerful. But I think this is probably a bit too cute for how many cards it needs in hand at any point in time to be relevant, let alone is a lot of influence. I would highly recommend dropping Mitosis and then playing probably another Aket and then playing maybe even a Drafter, because we have a fair few things we want to install, and keeping cards installed on the table or recurring cards from archives, especially the operations, is pretty strong. That, in short, is the deck. I think there's a lot of ways you can run with this deck. This is the first iteration of this that we played some games with and had some pretty good success with this. I think one of the interesting things that would it's kind of where the deck started and I ended up removing it, is I think that you can make this a hard-hitting news deck very, very easily. We have so many ways in this deck to like suddenly destabilize the runner. Basically, anytime you score an artificial crypto crash, or if the runner steals an agenda and pays a lot for an NAPD Cordon, hard-hitting news lands very easily, which is really good. On top of that, you'll have to play tag punishment, and originally this deck did run boom as tag punishment. I think we had 2 copies of it in it, which get rid of the Mitosis, I guess. I just was a bit wary of releasing 2 boom decks on this channel 2 weeks in a row, but I do think this is quite relevant. And if you're pursuing that, I think you can drop or add some Ubiquitous Vigs. You can drop Ubiquitous Vigs and add at any slot, maybe a reversed accounts or two. This is another card that on the table can get some free advancements. Maybe even you seamless launch this for a surprise, suddenly losing 8 credits. That's potentially quite powerful, especially with all the hard-hitting new stuff. Now, a thing that I understand from reading the comments is that this is a standard deck, but I will in the near future be putting up more startup gameplay in this same series on the channel. But looking at this deck, it's like 95% a startup deck. So what I did is I have a startup version of this deck. The only things you had to change, I think you had to drop the Rashida Yahims. So for that, we added 2 copies of Predicted Planogram to hopefully get you some credits or card draw, whatever you need, and some relevant tag punishment. We also added a single copy of Subliminal Messaging, which on its own makes a lot of sense in this sort of ability on the basis that it kind of encourages the runner to run, or you get credits. So your Pravdivost ability might be firing more often. I think in the ice, we had to change a couple things. We had to drop IP block, but that's no big deal because you have Gold Farmer in the startup format, which is a very, very, very good barrier. And then very luckily, we had to drop the free lunch, so we're running 2 copies of Pop-Up Window, which is probably fine. You can run just about any ice that you want in this slot. I do think we still want to drop the Mitosis to play like an Aket and a Drafter, and then you probably have to cut a card somewhere, but this is the startup version of this deck. Now, on top of that, the deck list that we published last week, the Gunboat Ob Combo Kill deck, is currently the Netrunner DB deck list of the week. Huge shout outs to everyone who upvoted that, tried the deck out, enjoyed that. Appreciate the support. But currently I'm a bit worried because we're going to try to be doing the series every week. And I'm not 100% sure I want to be publishing deck lists week after week after week and kind of crowding the Netrunner DB space. Maybe that's just something I'm worried about. Maybe that's not a real concern. Let me know what you think. But in short, I'm not going to be publishing this deck list, but the deck list for the standard and the startup version are in the description below. So you can click on them and you can view them and you can copy them into your own Netrunner DB deck list, but they're not going to be like in the searchable deck list. They're just going to be here. Let me know if you think that makes sense. Again, I'm just a bit concerned that I'm just going to be Metropol Grid spamming Netrunner DB constantly. So yeah, that is what it is. But that's this deck. I think it's quite fun. We have some really exciting games following this, so stay tuned. Of course, there's timestamps in the description below. At this point, the games are going to be in like 10 seconds, so nowhere left to go. But let me know what you think about the deck. Again, any feedback on the series is welcomed. It's very much appreciated, and enjoy the games. Hey, welcome back to Metropol Grid. Today we're playing Pravdivost Consulting. This is the new deck that we just leave together. First game with it. Don't know how it's going to work. We're playing against Sable, which is really cool. We're going to see a bit more of the mark mechanic. And Sable's going to be putting on a lot of central pressure. So it's kind of an interesting matchup because we get a free advancement if Sable makes a run, and Sable wants to make a free run anyways. We are going to have to put something in front of HQ so we don't get diversion to funds. Oh, thanks, you too. Opening hand is not great. We have no economy. This deck does focus heavily on NAPD cordon, so it's nice to have one of these early because we can make it really hard to steal an F4-2 if we do install advanced NAPD cordon. On top of the Pravdivost ability, but we're going to mulligan this. We definitely want to get an end to run ice on HQ. This is pretty good. We can do Enigma on the remote server, push out a Rashida. We can ice up just about everything, but if they run HQ first, that's the only way we'll have the credits to res the Enigma on the remote server. But we'll see how this goes. Sprint in the opening hand, that's not too bad. Well, we definitely want to make sure we don't get diversion of funds on turn 1. Oh, let me zoom in real quick. That's a bit better. So, Aket on the remote server is kind of nice. This on HQ is actually probably better against a criminal who does want to run there a fair bit. And there's a big chance that we could slow down here and actually click for a credit. Just so that we can res both of those. Because if they charge server 1 first and we res the Enigma, at least if that ends the run, we're not that worried about the HQ run because we can always pop the Rashida and recover from diversion. Mark is on HQ, so Ransom might be wanting to run HQ here. Aket is our Wayland splash here. It's something we can get free advancements on, which is always good to have something on every board state you can get free advancements. Because this also has a really good ability. And let's get that free Rashida. No aggression on turn 1. They do have to respect things like hard hitting news and like credit differential cards. Hedge fund's quite nice. They haven't seen a pad tab just yet. We probably do want to ice up R&D just so they're not getting free runs. And we're probably going to sprint this hand. If we can find an NAPD cordon, we're going to have a play. But otherwise we have a couple too many agendas. We'll keep one agenda. But Disburse is not bad. But I think we want to stick one of these on the table. And probably just hedge funds so that if we haven't end up resing everything, we're financially solvent. And then we can leave R&D open for 1 turn, I reckon. Do we actually want to jam one of these? Or do we want to just jam an artificial crypto crash? It's a bit difficult because if they have inside job or boomerang, like server 1 is not that good. But we could score it and do something really mean. Let's push this. Hold on. Let's try and do something really, really mean. I've never scored this agenda and this thing can be absolutely brutal. Like just incredibly mean. if this lands. Like, it's very hard to play around this. Losing 7 credits is a lot of money loss. And Archives is the mark right now, so that's pretty good. We haven't seen what console. I think what console a Sable plays is very interesting. They get some extra HQ pressure if they're playing Virtuoso, but I've seen a lot of people play Paragon or Swift or a Penny Shaver just because they are going to be running cheaply. I'm so scared to run. That's the issue here is like Sable definitely wants to run, but if they run, we get free advancements. And if we free advance the crypto crash, we don't have to seamless launch it out, which is what we're planning to do next turn if they don't run. So Archives, we get a successful advancements. It's either to put it on the Ket or the crypto. Let's do the crypto. So now we could seamless it and, well, hedge fund and then seamless it potentially. We could also just push a regolith on the table. Getting a breaker here. Mutual favor. They did make a successful run. It was clickless, mind you. It's a paperclip coming down. They're going to install it. So they can't get through the Enigma. Maybe a boomerang here and some correct ice placement would be good. A diversion also would be a bit brutal. Running R&D. They have exactly 6. They have exactly 7 credits. Oh my God. And we have another seamless here. So I think we're going to do hedge fund into seamless just so that, because otherwise if we score this, if we do advance, we go down to 4. So I'm going to do hedge fund, seamless. I can't believe they clicked the 7. This is rude. 7 credits is so much money. What are you going to do with 6 cards in hand and 0 credits? Like here, Carpe Diem is they're out. Dirty Laundry is they're out. I know. That thing is wild. But this is such a nightmare. Originally, when I built this deck, it had hard-hitting newses in it and booms so that we could leverage credit differentials, which I think is pretty reasonable. But I wanted to swing more into NAPT cordon and see how that works out as kind of making an unstealable agenda in a remote server. Archives is their mark. They just have to click for credits here. And now if they run, they're like really worried about hard-hitting news potentially. But admittedly, our list does not have it. Okay, another Enigma. We can put that on R&D. Let's start with some options into a new remote draw. Okay. An off-world office, again, is just going to be a struggle for them. While they can deal with the IP block, it's 3 credits. They still have to deal with the Enigma. We still have, what's it called? We still have a seamless launch in hand. And I think we could consider icing up R&D. The IP block is kind of fine. It stops Amakua. They can break it. If they pay 3 to see the top card of R&D, I think we're pretty happy with it. But there's a chance that we don't get this. There's also a chance that leaving R&D open is correct just so we get free advancements. But it looks like the mark here is on Archives. Last time they just had to click for 4 credits. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. And there's a stealth list, it seems. Netmercur hitting the bin. That's fascinating. I wonder if that means we're going to see an after image. I don't know if you pay Penrose. I'm not actually sure how much influence Penrose is, which is like the stealth decoder. But this remote server is going to cost them a bit. There's a mantle, so they're setting up a bit. If they run here, we're actually pretty happy. We'd be okay if they dirty laundry Archives. And a second Netmercur, that's 6 influence we've seen so far. 7, 8 now with the mantle. And stealth makes a bit of sense with Sable, right? I wonder with a card on the table whether they're going to respect and play with like low cards in hand. Wow, we've drawn all their seamlesses. Well, hey, let's get to game point. Now they're not running, so we're not getting our ability, but that's okay. We just got 7 credits. And they really have to run. If they want to get any value from Netmercur, which is the stealth big payoff card, it allows you to put money here. Oh, it looks like we're going to get diversioned. I think we're going to get diversioned here. We might want to have respected that at some point. We can put an advancement on the Ket, which is nice. Eventually, if this gets a Ketted, it's good. Okay, no further action. Running Archives, not exactly sure why. Because now they can still diversion us. They're going to get a click back. Oh, here, because that's why. So they can boost. They can use a mantle to boost the paperclip so they can clicklessly get a credit on the Netmercur. But this lets us advance this. Now they're worried this is a Messney Chestful. That's kind of the advanceable ice you're expecting the most often in this sort of deck. I'm going to res it just so it eats the boomerang. We're not going to get any of these abilities, but once this has 3 subroutines, it actually is pretty relevant. This is a cool ice also to get on your scoring remote if you have an NAPD cordon. So they're going to gain 5 credits. We're going to lose 5 credits. That's fine. Hopefully we draw a Bologna. We have an Archive Memories. Not amazing. Archive Memories for like Rashida is an option. I think we could consider playing a bit slow and just putting a regolith on the table and jamming it, and then trying to set up a Bologna with an NAPD cordon is a possibility. So I think we can just go a bit slow here. We might lose this to pinhole threading, but at least we've got, you know, fair bit of money off of it still. We still got 4 credits this turn. That's okay, I guess. And they still have to play the pinhole threading, which means we'll get advancement. Man, this has been on Archives the whole game. At this point, they probably want this on HQ. Just so that they can, you know, run HQ. This on HQ is so good. Because I think we're pretty weak to another diversion here. We'll go down to 4 credits, which is still enough to protect the regolith. But here they really need a way to pay off, to get a good run off Archives to benefit the mark stuff. Here, like a clickless, what's it called? What's it called? Pinhole threading would be good. Stealth decks take too much time. You have time. Just a little crypto speed bump. Yeah, we're not scoring out too fast from this point. So we have 2 Bolognas in the deck. That's ideally what we're scoring out next. The cool thing here, they can clicklessly run archives to move a stealth credit from their mantle onto their Netrunner, which is valuable because then they keep it as opposed to only having it once per turn. Interestingly enough, they used the Netrunner credit on their prior turn. I didn't realize that. Yeah, no, all good. But if they want to run archives, we get a free advancement on the Cat. And once the Cat hits 3 subroutines, it gets quite annoying. Admittedly, sometimes they can use that to their advantage, where they run through this, we gain the credit off the first subroutine, and then they can diversion it back. But if we have a Messny Chestfo or an NAPD Cordon or something like a Vladisabursk, something that can get that advancement and actually use it, or I think really like right now, we'd actually be pretty happy to see a Ubiquitous Vig. All right, another Crypto Crash. We put that on the remote server. They have 9 cards in hand. They're going to start with only 2 credits, technically 1 in the mantle. So I'm pretty sure we could like hit this once, install the Crypto Crash, put in Enigma. Admittedly, this does not help us win the game. In terms of agenda points, like we could just score at a Bologna or we could score at 4 agendas. So I think we'll try and score at 4 agendas. So here they really need a decoder. We'll put another ice on this remote server. Still haven't seen an NAPD Cordon, which is kind of like the big deal here, especially if you get your Vasilisas on the remote server. So when they run through it, you get free advancements when they make a successful run, a free advancement. So they generally have to spend like 8 credits to steal an agenda, which is quite mean. And here I hope they just do nothing and stabilize economy, just so that we can take away a bit more money with the Crypto Crash on the remote server. The fact that Crypto Crash is a single word kind of just shows you how often this is happening in this Netrunner future. All right, Ransom has a lot of cards in hand, but only 2 credits. Now, mind you can always use the credits off of Netrunner. Bravado, hitting HQ, clickless run here. They're going to let this trigger, aren't they? They don't have the money to break this. Oh, no, they technically they can't break all of this because it's +1 strength and they can only break 1 in the run subroutine. So it looks like we're going to get a credit and our advancement. I don't know. We could actually put it on the Aket or we could put it on the remote server. But they're only breaking 1 subroutine here, the way that this thing works. You don't often see that with a paperclip. There's very few circumstances where they have to boost strength, but don't get both subroutines. Can I boost again? Ooh, I honestly do. Ooh, I don't know. Sure, why not? So they're asking if they can boost once and break. Actually, wait. I honestly have no idea. I'm going to look this up and try and annotate here, but the question is whether they can boost and break and use the credit from Mantle to move it onto the Netrunner and then break again? I don't see why not. It's a paid ability window. They can do as many times as they want. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, that's really cool. So they're going to spend all their money. They're going to get through. They're going to get 7 credits. They get a clickless access here. So their money's okay now. No, that's great. All right. So if they're through them, at least they'll have 7 credits, which means if the Crypto Crash lands, we're in an okay spot. And at this point, we don't have to advance the Crypto Crash. I might actually advance the Aket just so we don't betray the fact that there's something brewing in the remote server. This could just look like a Rashida. So I kind of value getting this Aket up to 3 advancements because then it's very expensive to deal with the paperclip. Boomerang is still the same, but they can't break both subroutines, which is quite cute. Penumbral Toolkit coming down off of an HQ run that's 4 stealth credits. They can use this during runs, but it can be for anything. Mind you, they are stealth subtyped, and we haven't seen it yet, but there are breakers that require stealth to be able to break things like Afterimage. This allows you to bypass a sentry, and they're overclocking the remote server. We're just going to res, I think, the outermost Enigma. That's just going to end the run. So unfortunately, this Crypto Crash is not going to land. We don't have to score it here. But they have the overclock here. My only weakness, a code gate fire. So this thing takes us, end the run, loses a click. They don't have a click left. It doesn't impact their next turn. Okay, I honestly don't think we score this. I think we brew this. Like, we're really not in a rush. We could also consider advancing this once. We're going to get the free advancement anyways. I wouldn't mind putting down Ubiquitous Vig, putting down Regolith, and just hitting the Regolith, just like in 2 naked remote servers. Like, I don't really think we want to score the Crypto Crash for them to lose 2 credits. Admittedly, their money is a bit goofed up. I don't want to see what Vig can do. And we'll just, this is like clicking for a credit. It puts something on the table. And I love targets like this where they're like really incentivized to run them just so that we do get our free advancement. Mark on archives. Again, we haven't seen any Carpe Diems or Dirty Laundries. The first click they draw, they see 2 with Class Act. Mind you, this the first time a turn you draw, you get to see 2 cards. You get a bottom 1 of them. Like, come on, just get some money. Just click up the 4. Click up the 5. Dirty Laundry archives. Carpe Diem archives. Just get some money. We're feeling pretty good on the remote server because even if they like inside job this Enigma, we have a second one. I think the remote is Enigma, IP block Enigma, yeah. Come on, get some money. Yes. Oh man, we've taken 12 credits away with the crypto crash. Phenomenal. Oh, we have a mitosis, which is a 4 influence card, and we're playing this because we are playing NAPD cordon, and it works pretty well with our cards. I kind of want to play 2 of these, but this is so rude. Lost another 5 credits. Okay. Start your turn with 0 credits. There's so little you can do. Admittedly, Carpe Diem is like pretty sick if they have it. And this card here, I don't think we want to pay for the advancements. As soon as you start paying for the advancements on VIG, it becomes way less efficient in terms of like the money it puts out. And so now we're definitely on game point. We're going to want to archive memories as seamless back to hand probably, or spin doctor the other 2 back in. But now they just have to click for credits. Like there's nothing you can do in this game. It's like the reverse diversion of funds. If you don't have money, there's nothing you can do. Tell me about it. I remember playing this on stream against NVN decks like just a couple nights ago and like just so terrified that every agenda is a crypto crash because there's very little you can do about it. The big play you can do is like have cards like Liberated Accounts or Regolith or Daily Cast and like offshore your money. But right now, like Ransom has some work to do because we are definitely on game point. Bologna is still a thing in this deck, so they need 5 credits to steal that. We still have 3 NAPD cordon and 29 cards. And if they run R&D here, no, they're not. Just click for credits, throw out an Earthrise. So, hey, our ubiquitous VIG is not as ubiquitous. That's really good for the remote server. So I think we can get this as soon as we also like pull the archive memories for seamless. With this in the remote server, they're going to get scared. I think they're going to get a bit spooked. I don't like going down to this few cards in hand, but this really threatens that this is an agenda. We don't want to be on exactly 5 credits, so we'll go ahead and take 3 credits from this. Admittedly, we could consider advancing this once. I'm hoping to not have to. This is the fork where our advancements either go to the Aket or the VIG. So now that we pulled it back, they don't know if this is the 4-2 agenda because they know archive memories allows us to take a card from archives and put it back into our hand. If it's a face-up card, they'll see which one it is. And so now the seamless launch could easily be a 4-2 agenda in the remote server behind an Enigma. So they have a lot of work to do. HQ is their target. A diversion of funds here would actually be quite nice, but they have to click for a credit here. Mind you, they have 4 credits on Penumbral Toolkit. Okay. Let's see if they let any part of this fire. Because getting the subroutine is actually quite good. I think we do want to advance this just so we can get more free advancements. They break all the subroutines. No further action. We'll put the advancement on here. I think money is a bit sorted, so we don't have to go to the VIG. As soon as this is advanced, you can go to the VIG. They're accessing a mitosis from HQ, so they know we have this. We care about advancements on cards. Why not? There's the Penrose coming down for 2 influence. Also breaks barriers on the turn. So they are overclocking the remote server. 5 credits on this card and a run. I think they definitely have enough money to do all of this. And now our remote server doesn't make a lot of sense. Because they do have 4 credits on Penumbral, 1 credit on Netmercur, and money on the overclock. They broke all subroutines on Enigma. You don't have to do that. You can save a credit there. Just because the lose a click subroutine doesn't matter when you have no clicks left. It's very easy just to hit the break all. Yeah, they're doing counter 4. Nice. Okay. IP block, gonna keep going. They don't have an AI. I don't think they do in their deck. Amaku is pretty popular right now in the standard format. So this is either a trace for 3 credits or a break for 3 credits. You might as well break just so that we can't boost and make things a bit uglier for you. And they're gonna continue. And if we res this Enigma here, it's only 1 more credit for them. If we do that, they actually start using their real credits. I kind of like having this to be a surprise. I don't think we res the Enigma here. I'm not gonna res the Enigma. As soon as we res the Enigma, other top decks get really ugly. Kind of like keeping a surprise. I don't know, paying 3 and then paying 1 on this turn, especially when it's an overclock one, I don't love it. Admittedly, the sooner you res it, the faster it pays out. Okay. Oh, this is new remotes, right? Yeah. And I forget that you can install ice with this, which is kind of neat. Okay, that's a Messny Chestful. So looking at Penrose is 1 for 3 strength. So they actually break Messny Chestful for 3 credits. And merely if we get the advancements on it, it is a problem. But now they have all their breakers out. So it's definitely a game is afoot. We want to draw an NAPD cordon and an agenda. Another VIG. That could be something to put on the table. I think we're just going to keep drawing. The Disco Burst in the remote server is actually quite nice because if they don't run it and we can start putting free advancements on this instead of the VIG. Kind of an issue with VIG. I don't know how to get advancements on this thing. We could also consider mitosing next turn to get this to be ready to advance, but I think we're just going to put this in the remote server. And hopefully we get a couple free advancements from the Pravdivost. Again, first time to make a successful run, we get an advancement on one of our cards that can be advanced. Archives is the mark. Pinhole threading. Ooh, I like that. They don't have enough credits though for the Vladissa burst. They can trash it with the Penumbral toolkit though. They're using the Nemerkur to draw cards, which is always quite nice, especially clicklessly. That's actually really cool. Because they're using the mantle to boost the paperclip. Place an advancement. So they're going to be able to trash this. I'm going to just go ahead and advance the Vig, I reckon. Because I'm pretty sure they're 100% going to trash this. We could advance this and then they're really, really incentivized to trash it. Oh, this also threatens Spin Doctor. Wait, I need to respond to Spin Doctor first. I forget how this actually threatens every Spin Doctor on the table. If they trash our Spin Doctor, I think we're okay with it. I'm going to advance the Vig because our money's not amazing. But yeah, they could actually choose to do the Spin Doctor. They're hitting the Vladissa burst. I'm pretty sure they have to trash this. They didn't. Oh, okay, now I feel really silly that we didn't advance this. I was like pretty convinced that they were going to use the Penumbral Toolkit credits. Because we can fast advance out actually the only 3-2 in our deck if we top deck it. Because we can res this clicklessly. We can advance it with Seamless Launch, install the 3-2, advance it, and then use the trigger. So we actually, there's a top deck here that we can win on. I'll res the Vig now. There's some reason to keep this as a secret. At least this is neutral. There's the Bologna. Okay, again, Bologna is a way that they can use Penumbral Toolkit. We could, man, if we, this is like the magic here, is that if we draw into, what's it called, into an NAPD cordon, we can Bologna onto the table, a mitosis, and play cordon. Admittedly, we have a Seamless Launch, so we don't even need the mitosis. It just does make it harder. So I want to draw a cordon. We have 1 in 8 chance. Vasilisa also makes the cordon play nicer. So I'm just gonna put this on archives. I think it is just annoying enough. If they bypass it, when is this? Whenever you encounters, you may. So I don't think we get the Vasilisa. Whenever you are encounter, yeah, not when you are encountering. We're weak to another diversion here. We're pretty soft to a diversion. So I'm just gonna put this on archives and get some money. As soon as we draw into a cordon, I think we have a cool play, but it's dependent on how much money they have. Daily Cast getting 2. Again, these credits they can use for anything. So while their economy doesn't look to be too robust, they can use these for stealing Bologna, trashing Vladissa burst, stuff like that. Now they have their mark on R&D. I forget what we put here. IP block is just good enough. But we kind of want them to run. We kind of want to get free advancements. And now if they run HQ, like if they run HQ, the Aket triggers and the successful run triggers, like we have a Vladissa burst ready to go. Like that's kind of wild. But we do have one top deck that is a win. It's 1 in 23. But I want to see what we can do with the Bologna cordon. I don't know if they'll have the money. I want to force them to spend money. Like we need them to actually spend money so that the NAPD cordon is not too difficult. There's also a chance that we wanted to put the Vasilisa on server 1 just so that we install advanced Bologna and play cordon. It's way harder for them to steal it just because it'll have an advancement from the Vasilisa, advancement from itself, and an advancement from Pravdivost. So it'll be like 15 credits to steal the agenda, which is kind of wild. This deck doesn't look like it has imps, so if they're not stealing the agenda, they're trashing it. Oh, Miss Bones. That's good. That means they're going to make successful runs. There's no way they're playing Miss Bones if they're not running. Maybe they run server 1 here. I don't know. Another Penumbral just from hand. So it's a 2 credit card, but mind you, stealth credits are technically more valuable. And now it's coming down. That's a bummer. At least here they don't have rock. Oh, no, they still have money from Penumbrals. But we're going to get an advancement here. That means our Ubiquitous Vig is going to be a 2 credit econ card. That feels nice. I think it's exactly necessary, but it feels nice. This is good. Man, resing this for 2 and then breaking it for 3 every time, you can't feel too bad about it. Obviously, the AI clause is like the hottest part of this card, but this is going to actually take their stealth credits, which is cool with us. Here, I think we're going to res this because now they're actually spending real credits. Like they have to start spending their stealth credits, and these are the credits that they're going to use to steal a Bologna, if anything. This is admittedly only 1 credit, so maybe we could have done this before. This requires stealth credits only on the strength boost, so a bit easier. Here, what they're doing is they're taking all from one and not from the other. In theory, I think you want to largely take half the stealth credits from one, half to the other, so that you're not weak to resource destruction. Because if they end up floating a tag, we can like destroy the one that has all the money on it. So I think you do want to divide them, unless they have things like Aesop's Pawn Shop or a reason why they want to get rid of these cards. Cool, 2 credits. Desperate times. All right, so this is a Vlad. They trash it for 4 credits off Miss Bones. So now they have 4, 5, 6, and they have the mantle credits, so they have a bit of money. I think there's a big chance that we could just do install advance the Bologna. And then if they run it, like it's fine. I think if they run it, they have to get through this and still have 5 credits. I think that's unlikely, but there's a chance that they steal this Bologna and we just jam the next Bologna. Like we are what people call creating a scoring window. Like we might not have our own scoring window here. We're creating it. They know we have a seamless too, so that they have to respect that this is a Bologna. And here we can either put another piece of ice on here, which is going to be quite expensive, We can trash some of the enigmas, but again, we have to res this for 5. I think we're just going to take the regolith money. And if we want to mitosis, the thing with mitosis is that we have to put them into new servers. So the balloon is not going to be protected. I would really love to top deck a cordon. Admittedly, top decking the 3-2 is no longer a play. The tomorrow's headline because they trashed our Vlad. But they have to make it into the server and have 5 credits. I don't think it's going to be that difficult if they run last click because they still have a lot of money on these toolkits. Oh, Barada's going to help a lot. Yeah, now they're going to have good money. I don't think we're going to keep this thing. Oh, undo click, never mind. Credit, Bravado. Bravadoing their remote server is actually interesting because they don't get the credits until after the run. There's a chance they're going to be short to steal the Bologna. Because this costs 3, 4, 5. Ooh, it's going to be close. It's actually going to be quite close. If they can steal the Bologna and get Bravado credits, then they're actually in a pretty good spot. But I can't do the math that quickly. This they break for free because Netrunner gets a credit back. 4, 5, 6, 7. I think they're short 1 credit, but I might be wrong here. It's wild. 4, 5. They're short 1 credit if I'm not mistaken. Oh my god. Because they have 5 stealth credits. I'm not missing anything here. Ooh. I think they're short 1. Place an advancement. We have the seamless in hand, so we don't have to advance this. We could. But I'm just... Oh, so rough. They had 4 credits on access. That is GG. Seamless. Advanced events. We could have advanced this again. Just to be able to score it at. But I was pretty sure our math... I don't know if our math is right. Good game. That was an exciting one. Stealth Sable. That's neat. Cool. Exciting. We didn't see our NAPD cordons, which I think is like a big part of what the rudeness of this deck can be. We did take 12 credits away from crypto crashes, which is obviously pretty astounding. But our cordons were, yeah, in the bottom third. So once I got up, gaming was a real game. Yeah, it was. It takes a lot of work to set up a stealth deck. So sometimes that happens. You have to kind of go fast. And that's why cards like, what's it called? Diversion of funds, things that slow the game down. Even pad tap, if we opt to trash it, slows the game down. And that gives you the time and the breath you need to set up. Nice. Cool. Let's try another one. All right. Pravdivost versus Asa, the new Anarch from Midnight Sun. We're going to get sabotaged a fair bit. We did have 3 spin doctors, which is like the minimum amount of recursion and anti-sabotage most decks are running. Our opening hand, we still have that very tempting install advanced NAPD cordon, which at this point I kind of want to try. A lot of the Asa decks are running the event economy package with Ghost Tongue, I'm imagining. I haven't played against much Asa so far. And if that's the case, there's a chance it's not going to stick on the table. I do want to just try it for science. I don't know if it's the right play, but I want to do install advance cordon because again, to steal it's 8 credits and that feels good enough. The rest of our hand's fine too. The other option, and this is like the cowardice option that we did last game, is that we just kind of put this on the table and put this behind it and called it a day. I think that's also probably pretty fine. I'm doing it for the gram or whatever. I'm just gonna put this on the table. I'm gonna advance it, cordon it, go. Potentially it's a Bologna that we can seamless out, which is a lot of money. But here now, if they want to steal this, it's 4 credits plus 2 for every advancement, which will be 2 twice on there. There's the Ghost Tongue after the gamble. We have to trash cards from the top of R&D. I think I'm going to do the top of R&D just because we have 2 spin doctors in our hand and I like our hand. All right, so the hard drive ran out of space. I don't know when exactly it ran out of space. We jammed this on the table turn 1 with the cordon. Our opponent had an absurdly burst economy turn and they did not run this. But in short, they played a sure gamble. They dropped the Ghost Tongue. We sabotaged 2 off the top of the deck because we have a spin doctor in hand. We lost a seamless and a turnpike. That's fine. And then on top of it, they played a guinea pig to gain 7. And I think last click, they just drew a card. And they also got the Steel Skin Scarring draw off the guinea pig. That is so cool. Now it's back to us. And we can just score out this crypto crash. It's going to be a bit ugly because our economy is, again, a bit gutted. So this is kind of the worst part of the last play. But they just lost 7 credits. So we undid the guinea pig. Hopefully, I don't know when the recording cut out. So that's, I hope, a good enough recap. I don't know if we missed more than that. So moshing, they're going to get extra clicks. We have to sabotage 2. I think we can just throw out 1 here. We still have a spin doctor in hand. But this is getting annoying. I'm going to keep the Vig, and we lost an Enigma off the top. Mind you, that was creditless, which is also pretty powerful. This Ghost Tongue down early is fantastic. They have a self-modifying code, pretty surprising, but with this, they can get a lot of like things. Like you have to respect just about everything. I don't know whether that's like to get Begamot triggers so they can install and take core damage on our turn. They're at 2 core damage right now. We can't really put an advancement, can we? Nothing in there. This is core damage, mind you. They haven't updated this on JNet. If you're wondering what core damage is, that's worth saying. Maybe you're new to this channel, but basically brain damage has been renamed as core damage going forward. So it can be more encompassing more things when it comes to anything that represents some sort of damage or some sort of event that permanently affects the runner. So we could probably want to get a Vig on the table. They only have 4 credits. We'd also want to get a Spin Doctor on the table. I don't think they're going to be sabotaging until they can get that down, but we really need to get some economy. We have no economy in this deck that we can play on this few credits. The next big breakpoint is Regolith, which we definitely want to stick. So hopefully they run here and we get a Vig counter. Very important to remember, if they run the Spin Doctor and we pop the Spin Doctor, the run is not considered successful nor unsuccessful. So we don't get a Pravdivost ability. I don't love sabotaging while there's a Spin Doctor on the table. So we can just do 2 from the top of the deck. We lost an agenda and a Vig. That's fine. Okay. Now their hand size is back up to 5. They took 3 core damage so far. And I think we just need to stick a Regolith. Their opening was really explosive. We just have to like work on setting up the board. That's kind of an issue where we didn't go for putting the Message Chesto down and actually having a play there. Moshing, draw 3. They trashed a Running Haunt, Light the Fire, and a Paperclip. So tracking the Anarch Breakers, it's just a Paperclip so far. And a Puemos coming down, which is going to be the power of twinning. So good to know. This is one of the issues where if they don't run, like we don't get Vig counters. I feel like we're okay with it regardless. We have Vasilisa into Cordon, which is like a really fun combination. Admittedly, if they self-modifying code into an imp, it's a problem. But I'm really worried about losing off of R&D. So I think we're going to put a good piece of ice on R&D there. So I think we're just going to strap this to R&D and get some more credits. If we can top deck an agenda, we have install advanced NAPD Cordon again. We don't have a Seamless in hand. We could always archive memories for one. And it's a bulk altar. That's 4 influence. That deals with Vasilisas for free, I think, the first time, but we care more about the on-encounter ability. Okay, 12 credits, feeling okay. Rashida on the table, we probably just want to stick that. I honestly would consider archive memories for the Seamless. I don't know what else we'd want to archive memories for. We could always archive memories for an agenda, but it doesn't feel great. So I think we can just do these 2 on the table and we can clear this. And so the next turn that we'll draw into more options and have something to do here. I do think we want to preemptively archive memories for that. You can gain money or card draw. I think you can gain the money. Card draw is just way less common. This gets a fair bit better with Ghost Tongue. We're only cost 1 for this. And they want to install a card every turn so that they use cards from okay, there you go. Again, we're not going to get our ability. We're going to put it back the agenda for sure. And I think we're going to keep the Seamless in there just because we have an archive memories in hand and we have 2 more in the deck. So I'm going to put the Cordon back into the deck, I think. This deck used to run Drafter at some point. There's the Begamot. Okay, so that makes sense. Up to 2 cards of trash. They have 1 click left. I think we can do 2 from the top of the deck. I like our hand. So we lost 4 points. Okay. Don't run archives, please. Playing in person and non-person is a totally different thing. Okay, they didn't run and we have a Spin Doctor on the table. I do think we'll Rashida here. Draw 3, gain 3 is fantastic. We have a huge credit lead and they're not really respecting hard-hitting news, which could be obviously ruinous. So we need to get the Doctor on the table. We do want to archive memories for Seamless so we can set up the Bologna score, I think. So we'll put that into a new remote. Do they have a decoder yet? No. No, they don't. I like Vasilisa remote. I think they're going to start running HQ at some point. This is 6 strength. Like it breaks everything we have for 1 credit. So I don't even know if we res the IP block. Their money's not that good. Yeah, we probably do. I'm worried they're going to run HQ, honestly, considering that they have the twinning setup. And it's been a couple turns and we just drew a Spin Doctor. So I'll get some ice there. And we'll put Vasilisa on the remote server just so that it makes the Bologna. Actually, no, we'll just go ahead and do this. I think they don't have enough money. Seamless, I guess? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we have to discard a card? That's fine. Maybe it was actually right to set up the Vasilisa because next turn I think we do install Advance Cordon. Oh, there's a DJ Fenris. So Steve Cambridge is coming down. We can trash 2 probably from the top of the deck. We can get rid of the Regolith, actually. So we'll get rid of 1 and then sabotage another Seamless off the top. Feels bad. They're down to only 3 hand size. Dirty laundry on archives. So we'll res this Spin Doctor. We'll shuffle away 2 agendas. We'll get an advancement on our Vig now if they want to make a successful run. And they generally do. You can also put the advancement on the Messna Chesto, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it here. Funny enough, this could be an agenda that's been brewing the whole game, which the whole like trap side of this is not something I've really explored. I don't want them to have credits because of Bologna. I really don't want them to have credits because of Bologna. I'm going to give them cards. This is maybe a mistake considering, actually it's a mistake because their cards are probably worth more than 6 credits. Like if they draw into a single guinea pig, that's more than 6 credits. Running here. It's an Enigma last click. We only have 1 agenda in hand. They can steal it. But they're going to have to self-modifying code down for probably, oh, it's Unity. That's a surprise. They're spending influence on a decoder. They broke all the subroutines here. Technically they should. Yeah, they have a click left. And let's see how many cards they see. They can see up to 3. Really thought this card needed to be fully charged. It's not. It's 1 from 1. That's really good. They sure gamble back with Steve Cambridge. They access IP block and the Bologna. They can't steal the Bologna. Fantastic. We know they have a gamble in hand, which is going to be a 5 credit card. So from here, I think we need to get the Bologna on the table. We'll do install, advance. Oh, I didn't res the VIG. Sorry, I got excited. I should have res the VIG, of course. Cordon. So now again, Bologna is 5 credits plus 4 credits plus 2 credits plus 2 credits. It's a lot. And they're no longer threatening an imp from their deck, which can trash the agenda so they don't have to steal it this turn. Because this is not to access the agenda, this is to steal the agenda. So looks okay. This is where like we played 2 spin doctors so far and they can still like do a bit of sabotage. Mind you, that's a good way to do sabotage. Can continue to encounter ice. They're not doing this last click, so they can always check archives. We're also going to have to sabotage 1 when we score this agenda. Cool thing about Begamot though, like admittedly, is that we're pretty fine throwing out our IP blocks and our Raquette because it's really bad into Begamot. But we need to put something better into HQ because they're getting way too much value from Steve. This is a really cool deck, as Bior has. Guinea Pig, Dirty Laundry. I'd rather them have the Dirty Laundry because then we generally get an advancement. Put an advancement on a card. Okay, this means that we don't have to use our Seamless. Oh, excuse me. Choose up to 4 cards so we can get rid of these 2. And I think we'll do 2 off the tech. We'll probably hit an agenda here. Yeah, that makes sense. The last card that we don't want to sabotage by any means is the last Spin Doctor. And we're going to have to sabotage once more here. I don't think we Seamless this. They could do an IP block trivially, yeah. I don't think we Seamless this. Man, I do kind of want to put hard-hitting news into this deck. Like, people are not respecting it. Oh, that's disastrous. Uh-oh. That's another 2 points into the bin. This is when sabotage catches up. You feel like you're doing pretty good. And then there's still a fair bit of agendas in there. Yeah, this is not good. We need to get another trick on the table. Another Bologna would be scoreable. They don't have a lot of money. That being said, their money is pretty explosive. Pink 3 for Enigma. It's the same as Black Orchestra. Merely they have to break all of it with Black Orchestra. You can take a Steel Skin Scarring. Place 1 advancement. Oh, I keep forgetting this. I don't think our money is that big of a deal, so I'm going to advance the Messna Chesto. The fact that I forget this, like, kind of tells you. They hit the off-world office, so there's 4 more points in archives. Now they're running this. It's a ubiquitous VIG. We hadn't rezzed it for a while, so it did actually take a click from them. And now they're going to be on game point. Uh-oh. Oh. Got a lot of on Paladin Puemo and Trickster Taka, so it looks like they're going to have to trash both of those. That's interesting. And they generally don't want to trash all of these. This is trash an installed card. That might not be that bad. This is take a tag. That's disastrous. So they're going to just use the Puemo to trash the Taka. That's actually really cool. I'm going to res this now. But now a single sabotage can cost us the game, and we do not have a scoring remote, like, at all. We don't have a scoring remote. It's just an IP block. It's a lot of pressure they're putting down. I think the only option out here is, like, we could draw into a last NAPD Cordon. We've only 2 in the bin, 18 cards left. So hopefully this Rashida sticks. And merely if they don't run this, we could have won by jamming the off-world office, but this is going to be close. Guinea Pig, gain 10. And Steel Skin Guardian draw 2. Wow, that's good. That's fine. I think there's a chance we could have scored that out here. Maybe we should have believed in ourselves. Running hot. Oh, more sabotage. I love when they put all their sabotage in a single turn. Choose up to 4 cards. We'll do 1, 2, and we'll do 2 half from the deck. No agendas. Choose 2 cards as sabotage. I'm not doing more of my hand because then they'll see an agenda. I think we lost. Whoa, no, 4 points. And there's still so many clicks. Good game. Oh man, we got absolutely stomped on there. Oh, that was wild. That's a really cool deck. I'm glad we got that on camera. Yeah, that's sort of the issue there. Their economy was like really quite strong and they could do the economy at the same time. Maybe it was like strong enough. I think hard-hitting news would have been an issue and that was something they weren't exactly respecting. So I think that's something you can definitely put into this deck because we can like very inherently with things like Crypto Crash make a credit differential and capitalize off of that, which can be quite a big deal. But that was like very disruptive. It's the cool combination of the twinning and other sabotage because it would be very easy to sabotage more cards from hand, but then the agendas are left over and then the twinning gets in there. I think, I can't tell if we got unlucky off the sabotage. I feel like, oh yeah, there's no more agendas in our deck. So maybe we did to some extent. But there's one more. But to get out, I think our only play really was like to get a blown on the table with another cordon or something like that. Or to stick a Vladislavsk city grid actually would be interesting because we could fast advance out from there. I don't know if the opening play with our crypto crash was correct. It did take a lot of money out of them, but they did have 14 credits. It's very interesting to see too that even with 14 credits, they might think I don't want to steal that. Which sometimes is right. Admittedly, when it costs 7 anyways, maybe it isn't, but of course they don't know that. Wild. All right. Pravdivost Consulting versus Hoshiko, another runner who wants to be running just about every turn or every other turn maybe. So we're going to get some good value from our free advancement. Opening hand is a bit garbage. I'll be honest, free lunch is in this deck. Kind of as a joke. I don't think it's very necessary. It does play into the economic denial of NAPD cordon, but this is not a great opening hand. No economy, and we have a free lunch, unfortunately. So I'm going to mulligan this. I don't know what Hoshiko's win condition is, whether we're going to see just like Stargate, the sort of old Anarch decks before rotation that just had a bunch of value and then just rebirthed and kind of ground you down with things like Maw. I don't think those are anywhere near as strong as they used to be. Oh, we do have a crypto crash. We have some plays here. Thanks, you too. So there's we could, if we were very confident that they did not have a strong economic start, and we can check if they mulliganed or not, they mulliganed. We can do install, advance, crypto crash, NAPD cordon. So that means to steal the crypto crash after the consulting, they need to have 8 credits. That's interesting. Admittedly, if they do steal for 8 credits, this did its work anyways. Admittedly, though, we don't have an agenda, which feels bad. The other option is just to Mesny Chestful into crypto crash and hedge fund. I think that's probably good enough. Hopefully they don't run and they just set up. Admittedly, they often do run because of Pravdivost. If they advance, I don't honestly know whether we put the advancement on the crypto crash or we put it on Mesny Chestful. There's a chance Mesny Chestful. Wow, straight into here. Okay. Well, this is good enough. This is gonna fire. So they lose 3 credits. And so they only lost 2 credits because they didn't have that much money. Bravado is 3 influence. So this looks like it's just good stuff. Liberate counts. If they take 8 off of this, we're gonna be so happy. One more, come on. Take 4 more off of this. They're running. Okay, that's good. We get free advancement. This stops us from using our seamless if we don't need to. They hit the NPD cordon. Unfortunately, that is a trashable card. If they trash this, we're losing value after crypto crash, which feels pretty bad. So here, if we score this, they lose 4 credits. I don't honestly know if we want to do that. We could just do credit, hedge fund, and then ice up this again. I feel okay about doing that, honestly. This might be an issue. Not that we had much to do this turn besides score this, but I'm pretty sure they're going to end their turn on more than 7 credits. Wait, did they only have? They had 4. Yeah, because after the trash. Right, sorry, after they draw. So they flipped. Hoshiko flips after she accesses. Place an advancement. Yeah, okay. We could actually put it on the Mesny Chestful. It's pretty reasonable. And now they're on 6 credits. Okay, so now we feel pretty good pulling this. So now they lose 7. Put that in a new remote. They know what this is likely. But that's a lot of money down the drain. And now they really have to respect hard-hitting news. There's a Fencer Fueno, not a card I love, but does give you some teeth against trashables. Also very good against Bologna, very good against NAPD cordon, funny enough. But definitely the least played of the companions. Did I say I wasn't a fan of Fueno? I'm a huge fan of Fueno. What am I talking about? Fueno's our favorite. Basilisau, really cool on the remote server. If we, it's just an annoying piece of ice. It's really good if we get NAPD cordon. Let's draw into more options first. That's a headline. We could actually score this out with Seamless and even trash something if we wanted to. So put that on server 1. I'm worried about losing off of R&D more than anything, so we'll just ice that up. And they might not want to run because they know we have a VIG. Like there maybe is just enough deterrent to running when that our ability gets some amount of value here. Moshing, trash 3 cards, gain 3 credits. So much better when it comes now with the new steel skin scarring. And hey, that's a twinning as well, gets in discard. No further action. I think our money needs a bit more support. So it's either we advance the headline or we advance the VIG. I think we're going to advance the VIG. And they see a seamless launch in hand. There's a pad tap. So if we res the VIG, we gain a credit, they gain a credit. In fact, we don't gain a credit. We go neutral, they gain a credit. So I'm not going to res the VIG until we deal with the pad tap. Ooh, Aket's really good. So we could seamless advance, give them a tag, and then trash Mystic Miami. We can also trash a pad tap, but you can trash the pad tap normally, it just saves us a credit, or we can trash 4 credits out of this. I think the Mystic is going to give them more than, that's a 3 credit card technically when the turn starts. So I think we're going to trash the Mystic. It also gives them more money with Keiko, so. And they still have to clear this tag. This is expensive. Not the best, but we've done a fair bit of financial damage, and they still need to spend a click and 2 credits. If they have like a Deuces Wild, that's the best way for them to clear the tag. And Fencer Fueno is going to maybe take this thing down eventually. We can also, of course, put our advancements on Meston and Chestful if we need to. There's the Sealskin Scarring. They're playing it for 1, so they're getting less value off of their Mystic, which allows them to play events. Coming down with Ataka. So they have, it seems like all the companions. We haven't seen a Paladin yet, but I'd be very surprised if that wasn't in the list. Our economy here is a bit bad. We need to get a Regolith on the table as soon as possible. They've also shown no breakers. Oh, no, they have, sorry, an MK Ultra and a Black Orchestra. Definitely worth knowing. And this thing they break for only 3 credits, which is not very good for a 5 credit ice. That's why you need the advancements on this for this to be taxing. Because then it's a 6 credits, pseudo 6 credit break. Dirty Laundry coming HQ. I think we're going to advance the Meston Chestful. We could consider advancing this thing here. I'm pretty sure they're going to trash that sooner or later, especially because this is going to build up. So we're going to advance Meston Chestful. We could advance the outermost one, but we don't want to give them more information than we have to about what kind of ice we have here. But also this one's rezzed, so we might not be able to afford that one. That's a bit of a yikes. I feel like they're going to get this agenda. We might just need to click for credits here, which is pretty awkward. At that point, when they have 5 credits, we have 2. We probably do want to res the Ubiquitous Vig. I think we missed that trigger there because I don't care if they get a credit. We need the money more. That being said, I think this is going to come down soon enough. So they need 369 to get in here. Whatever. We'll just take credits. If they face plant into the Cat, we gain credit. They gain a credit because of pad tap. And they need to do something with Fencer Fueno here. Otherwise, they have to, what? Pay 1 credit? It's not the worst. You can afford to do that maybe for a turn or 2. But if you start paying credits for Fencer Fueno, it feels a lot worse. They can also use the Fencer Fueno credits. What does it say? You may spend for the remainder of that run. So this says the runner loses. Is that considering spending? I don't think so. Place 1 advancement? Yeah, okay. I think we're going to lose the Vig here. They do it for free because they spend 3 credits from Fueno and they get a Keiko. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, maybe we shouldn't have advanced that, huh? So unfortunately, we're credits short of resing that. We can take 3 credits off of them here. I think we will. Yeah. And this is very different than Toll Booth. Toll Booth loses, they can't lose 3 credits, they end the run. This just loses 2 credits because they didn't have the money. So we're going to lose this thing here. I think we probably should just advance the Ubiquitous Vig. Maybe they still would have done that if they're worried it's a Rashida. But now they really need to do something with Fueno. Second pad tap. Okay, now we really don't want to res the Vig. But they're paying for this at least. Oh, they can't afford to pay for the Fueno. Fueno's going down. Interesting. Oh, we had a Seamless too. If we didn't advance it, we could have considered it. Okay. Cordon's good. That's what we need to keep on the table. So that's our next turn play. Okay. So next turn we'll do this. And then after a couple turns, hopefully we jam a Bologna on the table. We do install advance and Cordon on Bologna. That would be the biggest deal for us. Fumo's coming down. They cleared out the liberated accounts. Now they need to get breakers on the table or they're going to lose Taka. Right? And if we don't res anything, this is the only thing they can get a breaker on. They don't have a paperclip, right? The issue here, though, is if we res the Aket, they gain money. They gain 2 credits. We lose 2 credits, but we get to advance a Meston Chestful. This will leave us on 2 credits. That's perfect. But unfortunately, it looks like they're not going to be able to use their Taka. So fire, they gain credits. We can advance this. So yeah, let's either take a tag. We can't res here. This also means we get a free advancement, which is sick. We don't need a res the Meston Chestful. I think we're going to just advance the Aket. The Aket is pretty bad with double pat tap, honestly. Maybe we'll advance this one. Unknown card here. They could steal a Bologna. If they did, that's pretty bad. They'd be on game point. But it looks like Taka's going down here. And that's a Vladisa Burst Grid coming down for 4. So their money is not amazing. It's either taking a tag here or trashing Taka. Wow, they've lost a lot of companions this game. Oh, we only have 1 credit? Did I do my math wrong? Yeah, I think I did. Ugh, this is going to be another downturn. Because we don't want to hit this once. We want to hit this 3 times because of the pad tap. So I think we're just going to install this in server 1 and take 2 credits. Yeah, our economy is faltering a fair bit. Just kind of went a bit too low. We haven't seen off-worlds. We saw the crypto crash, and that's the opposite side of it. Like, would you rather have money or your opponent not have money? Honestly, there's good reasons to do both. But yeah, we're struggling. At least we'll be able to recover from this. If we res the Basilissa, we get a free advancement. Not very good on this board state, so they can just gain their 7 credits. Giving them a tag is kind of interesting. Maybe we should be just rezzing the Vig. Okay. We're back in it. They gained 2, but we're up at 10. So now we can actually start doing things. So we kind of clawed out of that hole. We've seen a lot of influence. They've been drawing a fair bit. Gachapon. Not exactly sure what that's going to get access to. The twinning is a nice new virtual. They could just like YOLO for a breaker. In terms of breakers, they don't have a paperclip, but they have 1 orchestra, which is the decoder, and 1 killer. Here we can res the Basilissa. They'd have to install and break it for 1, and we can actually put the advancements on the Ubiquitous Vig and consider resing it. Because as long as we res this, and we should have res this last turn, if we were going to use the Regolith mining license, we might as well res the Vig because they're going to get credits no matter what. So we'll put the advancement on the Vig. Like eventually this is going to gain 3 credits if they don't trash it this turn, assuming they're making a successful run. And now we're actually taxing them credits. Hitting the Gachapon. Ooh, no one home off the top is kind of nice. They also have a Dream Net that can come down, draw them a card. Rizeki also might be quite good. So the Gachapon allows you to look at the top 6, install a virtual, then you shuffle or a program, paying 2 less, and then you shuffle other cards back and you have to remove some of them. So it's deck thinning. You don't know what you're going to get, but it's deck thinning and tutoring, pseudo tutoring, and it saves you econ too. It does a lot in a single card. They remove no one home and Rizeki from the game. Place 1 advancement. Yeah, okay. It's a good Vig. I wonder if they're going to have to take this down. They trash the Spin Doctor. That's okay. We have another one in our hand. But they need to keep their money up. Speaking of their money, there's the Vig. Okay. They have 14 credits. Our remote server won't keep them out. Interestingly enough, we could install Advance the Crypto and then Cordon. And then they would need a fair bit of money because they have to get through all the Messina Chesvos. They still have to steal this. Oh, I think we do that. The issue with that play, though, is that we're leaving 6 credits off the table and we just gave them Ubiquitous Vig money. I think there's a chance that we do install Advanced Cordon. But then we're in an awkward spot where we only have 2 Bolognas in this list and we haven't seen them. So we're going to have to score out. I still think we try this just because I think it's going to be very expensive. Like this is 3 credits. This is 3 credits. This is going to be, there'll be 2 advancements on it. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more credits. I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to try it. Oh, no, I think we need the money. I think we can hold off 1 turn. I don't think we're in a rush. We could put Spin Doctor on the table. Last click, it's a bit dodgy. They still haven't produced a paperclip yet. So HQ is basically just Boomerang. I think we can just put a Spin Doctor on the table. And now every turn we're getting 3 credits, they're getting 2 credits. So I think that's actually kind of better for them. Admittedly, this will soon be more than 3 credits. I don't think we have to advance much else. Overclocking. Okay, so it's coming down. We still get our advancement. Might as well advance the second one, keep it even. They're paying good money they get a card draw off the Dream Net, but they're paying good money not to get Pad Tap. At this point, we could probably consider trashing Pad Tap, but I'm hoping to just top deck a Bologna and go from there. There's the twinning. So when they use credits off of a card, they get counters on this, and then they can use this to see multiple cards. This is a very powerful card. A very quite powerful card. I don't think we want to pay 1 here. We could make the Uckhead annoying, but I don't think we want to pay 1 here. I don't think we really need to. They're breaking for 3. This is the card that they're going to use the credits off of. Gachapon is a nice way to do it on your opponent's turn because it says the first time a turn. So if you do it on the corpse turn, that counts. Leech is getting okay. No ice really matters about Leech on our board state right now. They trashed another Vlad. Okay, so they don't have a lot of money. So we're going to see an unknown card here. That's a Mitosis. Mitosis so far we haven't been able to play in this deck. But if we draw into a Bologna clicklessly here, we have a potential Mitosis play. Oh my god. I don't think the Mitosis play is as good as just doing install advance behind Messina Chesvo. We do install, advance, cordon. So unless they can trash the card by having an imp, to run this Bologna, they have to pay 5 credits to steal it, 4 more credits for cordon, 2 more because of advancement, 2 more because we're going to put another advancement on it before the run's successful from Pravdivost, and they have to spend 6 credits, let alone break both of these. Feeling okay about this. I'm going to throw out an agenda. Like, that's a lot of money. And we have a Seamless in hand. If they trash this, mind you, it's an issue. But that is a huge amount of money. Pravdivost can just make Cordon really sing. Gachapon on the table, and it looks like that is game. Cool. They could... Oh, no, they can't really pull Clot from this because we've already pre-installed the card. So that is going to be it. Seamless. Advance, advance. I think the Mitosis might be a bit too cute for this deck. But you know how much money it costs to run that? Especially imagine you had to also Basilisas here. That was a fun game. Man, this meta does seem a bit faster, but like we're not going for rush decks exactly, but the games go quick. Thanks for the game. I think our money maybe did struggle a bit, and that's the difference between getting a crypto early or getting a off-world office. But we got through there. There was a couple ugly parts, that's for sure. And we do struggle to deal with pad tap. I know I get a lot of feedback that you should probably just trash it. I'm going to be very interested to watch this back when I'm editing and seeing whether we should have just trashed the pad tap. A lot of times you do. Well, hey, that's the deck. This is a very new deck. I will post it. The link is in the description below. It needs a fair bit of tuning. This is our first iteration at it. I don't know whether the mitosis is actually worth it. If you can get a lot of value, you have a lot of cards you want advancements on. But yeah, it's neat. It's definitely neat. I want to try more about this. Thanks for watching.